Call to meeting, our regular board meeting for Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 at 5 p.m. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call for attendance, please.
Sure. Trustee Escutia?
Here.
Trustee Farrell?
Here.
Trustee Ibarra?
Here.
Trustee Slattery?
Here.
Supervisor Contreras?
Here.
All present?
Thank you. First thing on the agenda is approval of the minutes for our special town hall meeting of November 1st, 2022. And also for the approval of the bid minutes for 2022-01 for project at various locations. Can I get a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the special town board meeting of November 1, 2022. I'll wait and make a motion
Okay.
afterwards for the other one.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, now I'll make a motion to approve the bid 2022-01 minutes, road improvement project, various locations.
I'll second that.
Roll
Okay.
call, please.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, next, any public comment on anything on the agenda?
Can I make
Yes.
public comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'd like to make it on the budget.
Okay.
I just, in going through it, and I missed this the first time, it's really not about the 2022 to 2023 budget, but the year after, the 2023 to 2024. But this budget will definitely affect that budget because I was looking at the general town budget, and we had revenues of $3,189,000. That's the total revenues. We're expending $4,764,000. So we're using up $1,575,000 of the surplus we had. And so that gets us back to this balance of $196,104. And that the transfer to the capital fund was $1,500,000. The problem is if we transfer all that, we're gonna have problems in animal control. And we go to animal control, I'm showing that we have revenue of approximately $550,000, and that we'd end up with about $118,000. Let me get that, I guess. I'm sorry I'm doing this, but I want everybody to be aware. We'd end up with about, well, the deficit would be $118,000 between the revenue and the expenditures, which would eat up our ending balance on the cash side. And but we'd still have the $550,000 approximately coming in for the next year. But I'm looking at our personnel this year is already at $773,000. We're already into a deficit. And then we still have contractual services, commodities, and capital outlays going on. And we transferred $250,000 from the general town fund. It looks like we'd have to transfer another $500,000 from the general town fund to just balance that budget. Unfortunately, we're not the federal government, and we can't overspend our budget.
Correct. Some of the stuff we are also gonna be getting reimbursed. So the reimbursements that are coming in for a lot of the additional expenditures are also coming back. Stuff like the vans that was purchased, that's not happening again. The things that are gonna be constant are the wages, so that's not changing. Anything else we missed, Ivan?
They might, the wages say like 700,000, but the usually employee insurance doesn't go all the way.
Okay.
So it's just a little bit of cushion. There's always like an extra 2% cushion in wages.
And And then also, for even their capital improvements that we had in there, that we added, since last year,
Yeah,
it's actually now, we wanted to put it into the capital fund, so we can actually reduce that. And if it's in the capital fund, it can be used for that. So the money that's transferred in animal control for that we wanted to do the capital fund designation for capital projects for
so
our building.
we got 60,000 in the capital fund this year, I don't know what it'd be the next year.
No, I'm saying in the capital fund, like our capital fund, like the general
Right.
town capital fund, to use that now for bigger projects for all locations and have the money there.
Let me understand, we'd be spending the money out of the capital fund itself, right?
Correct.
Okay, for expenditures for wherever we need it.
Here, there, or any future buildings, correct.
Okay,
That's why the transfer for that 1.5 mil to what we already have, we wanted to put it into the capital fund, into the general, its own capital fund, not per general town or for animal control. So we have the flexibility to use it, whether it's in this building, animal control, or any other future purchase. So using that fund finally for capital improvements, which we are allowed to do.
okay.
You are right, though, we are gonna transfer more, to animal control from general fund next year. Last year was 750, this year was only 250, because they didn't need as much. But
Yeah.
next year, they're gonna probably need more, but we won't do any capital fund transfers next year, so.
And I'm talking about next year's budget, not this.
Yeah,
year's.
next year's budget is, but
Yeah.
okay, take the.
All of the improvements for the animal control, that was from this year's budget, right?
Correct.
Right, so, okay.
So we're planning to future, it's all capital improvements coming from the capital fund, not just individual, capital funding sources in the different buildings.
Right.
Okay.
So next year's budget, we should be okay. We won't, it shouldn't reflect this year, we shouldn't have as many expenditures, nowhere near as many expenditures.
In capital expenses, there will be mostly none, it'll be all, most of the money's gonna come from the capital fund, so animal control budget and general town should have very low capital outlay.
Yeah, even ours, even the general town's capital, what we have for our capital outlay and stuff, it was higher this last year, and it's not gonna be as much, because we wanted to put that into the capital fund for the whole township,
And the capital fund is at a higher interest rate than,
and that's another reason. Because we get more return of our funds being there and in the capital fund, on it as well. So if we're gonna use it, we might as well have the money work for us, and then also, it's flexible to use it all, any location we have for capital improvement. Yep.
Do we need that 1,000,005 into the,
Prior to discussions we've all had, I think and that's where we can have it, where we don't, it doesn't count against the township for accumulation of funds, and I think we will, for all of our near future projects, yes, especially as expensive as everything is. Because I think I even talked, and this is not happening, but when we did do the plans to see what would it cost to have real improvements just at animal control. We're not moving forward, but just to get a scope, remodeling and outfitting the current building alone there, this is how expensive just anything we wanna do in the future, was $3 million, right? Within its exact same footprint. To then expand into the south part of, the west part of the lot, right, just like an expansion, was like $5.2 million. And then to expand and then have a complete facility was like $7 million, right? So for us to purchase any land in the future and remodel it and have it to what we want, it's not gonna be insignificant investment. So I think what we're going to have in there, almost 4.6 million, is that it? What we're gonna have in the capital fund?
it'll be around a little over 4 million.
Although 4 million is reasonable, for any capital project we would like to do, or any money into, like to do. I don't see it as unreasonable to have. And it just sets us up for the flexibility in having it in the capital fund. And that's the reason.
And it brings us up to 3,913,000 with the 1,000,005.
Correct. So, no capital, project we would like to pursue is going to be, I mean, quote unquote cheap.
Right. But once it goes in there, it can only be used for capital expenditures.
Correct.
I guess my concern is if we put it all in there, will we have enough to transfer to animal control? Because that has to come out of general town if we're paying payroll with it.
That's true.
Well, what we could do is, I mean, that's why, Eric, so what we even, agreed to today, right? Whatever we decide to amend, so we can do less and then
Well,
next
like I
year,
said, this one I don't have a problem with,
it's.
as long as you don't spend all 1,000,005, transfer 1,500,000 over.
Right.
Because I think you are gonna need some of that.
Well, we can change it to probably that it's reasonable that we can just transfer only 1 million, we can change it to, we can just literally, or so this is when we open the budget, we can change it to 1 million and keep 500,000 of padding, and then see where we are next year, and then if we have, then we transfer over, or we keep it. So we could do that as a safety net too, it does not, it won't affect our operations, it's a reasonable cushion.
And also, we won't run out of money.
Okay.
So yeah, we can do.
You have deep pockets on it.
No, but we could do that, or we can do like 1.2, keep 300, so, I mean, if everyone's in agreement, we, then instead of 1.5, we do 1.2, and then we'll keep the 300,000 for the padding on the flexibility side of things. We
Well,
can do that as well.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that you need some extra money for animal control if
And then we
their
could-
expenditures are anything similar to what they are this year.
Correct. Okay, then I'm not opposed to that as well, so we'll do we can change the transfer to 1.2 million, and then just keep that 300,000 in the general town for, in case animal control needs it, so that's all right as well. So, I'm okay with that. Okay, so that'll conclude our
Public
public
comment.
comments. So, do we need to open, oh, do we need to open now the?
Public hearing, we need a public hearing for both, two public hearings, one for the road district, one for the Joliet Township.
Okay.
I need someone to make a motion to open a public hearing.
Can I get
I'll make a motion to open a public hearing for
The general
the
town.
general town budget,
Amended budget.
amended budget, general town.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
We meet for the day if you want.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, so we are entering into public hearing to discuss and adopt the ordinance 2022-05 road district amended budget and appropriations.
General town.
General,
Not the road.
sorry, so I apologize. We are opening a public hearing at 5:13 p.m. We have exited our regular town board meeting, and the special hearing is to adopt ordinance 383, 2022, Joliet Township amended budget and appropriations, with all of the previous attendees still in attendance. Can I get, we already did a motion in a second, so we are now in public hearing.
Ivan, do you wanna add anything on this?
If you could give an overview of the amendments that are being made to the general fund budget.
Okay, yeah. The amendments from, since last time, or the amendments in total?
The amendments from
Last-
what the budget currently looks like.
Okay, we amended a couple of, in assessors, we added a little bit into the computer programming after talking to Jim. They were pretty close to their limit for the budget that we had previously planned, so we upped that about $8,000. We upped equipment for them, $2,000. I was explaining to Ray, They're buying iPads, after I explained the rate, so we wanted to make sure they had enough for iPads for all their field operators. We did do the increase for the capital fund. And those are the only two changes that we had from the last time we met. Any questions on those? I know we were just went over the capital fund ones, but those were the changes.
They gonna need software for the iPads?
Yeah, that's what we did raise the 8,000 for,
Software and everything.
yeah, so that was a total of $10,000 for that, their budget increase, and then the $500,000 from the capital fund. That was all the expenses that were changed.
Now, for us to change it today, Brian, then let's say instead of the 1.5, we're gonna just do the 1.2 million transfer. We just make the changes now and say that that's what they're gonna be.
Yeah, so any changes to we had to have an amended budget prepared for inspection if anyone wanted to look at it, so that's what we're having the public hearing on. After the public hearing's complete, we can make any changes we want to that amended budget before vote.
Okay, great. Any,
If, for example, for expenses, we usually, if we budget for salaries, like 700,000, usually we don't spend all the 700,000, and that's usually fine. Can we do the same thing with the transfer, even though we budget 1.5, if we only transfer $1 million, are we, it's similar situation, or, so we could leave it and just only transfer the $1 million, like Ray was mentioning earlier?
Yeah, I was,
Is the question, if you don't,
Like, do
if
we
you
have
transfer it,
to,
do you have to use it?
right, if we put it 1.5, but we only transfer $1 million, are we still fine?
If we amend the budget to transfer 1.5, we should transfer
The
1.5.
entire, okay, so we have,
So we can
we
do
do
the
have to
1.2.
transfer back to.
yeah,
We should follow the budget.
yeah, but we don't have to spend that money.
correct.
So that would give us a surplus going into next year's budget. Cause I don't really have a problem with this year's budget as long as we don't spend the money. At least all of it anyhow.
Okay. Any other?
For the assessor's office, you mentioned two figures, and I said 10K at the end. 10K is the total amount.
Yeah, the 8,000 went to the computer program, I don't know the exact code, and the 2,000 went into the capital outlay,
Okay.
the equipment. Any other questions?
So we can close it?
Before we close it, just note for the record that there's no one else present besides township staff, so no objectors, no public commenters.
Yeah, so there's no public commenters, no objectors, the only attendees are trustees and township staff.
And the budget was available at the reception desk, so anybody that came from the public, they wanted to see an actual physical copy, there has been a budget, both budgets have been there. For inspection, available for public inspection.
Thank you.
Then we can go ahead and close.
All right, can I get a motion to close public hearing?
I will motion to close public hearing.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
All right,
Okay, public hearing closed, 5:17.
okay.
I'd like to make a motion to open up a public hearing for Township Road, how you say it?
Yep.
Township,
Road district.
Road District. Amended budget.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Sure, Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
All right,
Motion carried. We are now in public hearing at 5:18 for to adopt ordinance 2022-05 Road District amended budget and appropriation.
Yeah, so this one, similar, couple changes, after talking to Vince, he wanted more of the PPRT funds, since those increased, he wanted to use that and put it towards the road drainage budget line item. So we did that, and we reflected the municipal expense as well, because the more we get from PPRT funds, that has to go up as well, but those are the two changes we had for road. So if you notice, the revenue went up from PPRT, and then the road drainage line also went up.
that allows us to do a few things. It allows us to expand our greatest budget line items so that it'll help us in case we need to make any transfers as the end of the year comes around. But also, it gives us the ability to use the money and put it back into the roads. And actually, the last project, because we were making this amendment, it's actually, we were able to move forward with that, with this money, so, with the expectation of this.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Again, noting there is no other, members of the public here besides the, township officials and township staff here for the road district, amended, budget and appropriation. Seeing there's no other comments, can I get a motion to, close the hearing for the road district, 2022-05, amended budget hearing?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell? Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried. This public hearing is closed at 5:20 PM with all attendees currently in session. So now we need a motion to go back into regular town board.
Or is it on
It's on, we closed it, so we're back in.
So we're
Okay,
back.
perfect.
Okay, so our next, do we need to approve the budget now, or adopt it? So with the changes, so should we say the changes?
For the Joliet Town, yes, you'll wanna make a motion to approve the amended budget with, and
Okay.
then specify your specific changes that are being changed to the amended budget.
Okay, so I'll do road district first, so then can I get a motion to adopt, road district 22-05 amended budget and appropriation?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Second? Jesus. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next, adopting of the ordinance for 383-2022 Joliet Township amended budget and appropriation with the changes of, for the capital fund transfer, instead of 1.5 million, it's going, would be 1.2 million to the capital fund with the other 300,000 remaining in our general town fund.
I'll make a motion.
Is that correct?
That's fine.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Alright, next is, approval of our, 2023 board meeting schedule. We should have it ready for, general town. Any comments, questions, or concerns? For a board meeting schedule for 2023?
Yeah, the April meeting is on my birthday, so I'm expecting.
Noted. Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve.
can I get a second?
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next is the, we need a motion to approve the approval of the holiday schedule for our Joliet Township and Road District. We should have both, holiday schedules.
I'll make a motion to approve both of those.
Before that, Supervisor, I just wanna point out that the road district, the physical copy that we were given and the electronic are different.
Okay.
I cleared this up with Highway Commissioner prior. On the physical copy, it says Veterans Day is celebrated Friday, November 10th. It's actually Thursday, November 9th.
Okay.
Thanksgiving, instead of Thursday and Friday, it's Wednesday and Thursday, the 22nd and 23rd. And for Christmas, they also get Tuesday, the 26th.
Okay. So the correct copy is the physical copy?
The correct copy is the electronic
Electronic.
copy.
The one on the agenda online. Yeah.
Okay, the online.
It was, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the correct copy.
Get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
All right, next is our annual approval, of our annual policy with Blue Cross Blue Shield, health insurance for current new hires. Again, we're working with our consultants, One Digital, and this is still, the best, pretty much the best rate, we can get for the township.
I'll make a motion to approve the annual policy
Okay.
for Cross Blue Shield for
For
current new
insurance,
hires.
all right. Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next is the, annual approval policy for Delta Dental Insurance for current employees and new hires.
Make a motion that we approve the Delta dental insurance for current and new employees.
I second that.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next is, the approval for our annual policy renewal for our vision insurance for current and new employees.
I'll make a motion to approve the VSP vision insurance for current and new employees.
I get a second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Ibarra?
Aye.
Trustee Escutia?
Aye.
Trustee Farrell?
Aye.
Trustee Slattery?
Aye.
Supervisor Contreras?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next, approval, resolution, 2022-6, to authorize appointment of our deputy clerk.
I'd like to make a motion.
Discussion.
Yeah.
I would, because, well, let's put it this way, Victoria has nothing to do with you. It says here that, under section 7545 of the Township Code, provides that the township clerk, when authorized by the Township Board, may appoint one deputy clerk. This is his first time, you know, nobody's come to us to say, I'd like to hire a deputy clerk. This is the first time. And I'd just like to table the motion so that in December, you can discuss it with us and tell us why you need you know, but in the meantime, keep the person and everything. I understand, but I think we have to, I don't know about the rest of the trustees, but sometimes I get the feeling like I'm a rubber stamp, and I'm not a rubber stamp. I like to do things, I think, in a correct way, and I think we got the cart in front of the horse here a little bit.
Sure.
That's all.
Do you want me to go to the podium and answer any questions you might have?
Well, I don't have any problems with that.
Okay.
Are personnel issues though supposed to be discussed in closed session?
We,
Like it's
we
a
have,
personnel.
we have the ability to discuss employment compensation and so on of township employees. If we think we need to go into executive session, we can, but we don't have to, we're not obligated to.
Well, if we're tabling it, then we have a couple of weeks to have those discussions and,
Individually.
yeah.
Certainly.
So I wanted to just ask if I can come and address any questions about, any questions why you think we need to table it or?
Well, because we know absolutely nothing about this person. If we had a copy, well, first of all, I guess we need to know not so much about this person, because you have the right to hire that person as your deputy. That isn't the question. The question is, why do you need a deputy? And that's what I was trying to get to. Because that's, it says in our guidebook anyhow, that you can come to us and ask, we should approve you hiring a deputy. Okay, and so I'm just saying, you should have come to us first and said.
And that's what I
like,
wanna address.
Huh?
That's what I wanna address. Can I come to the podium?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
As far as I'm not running the meeting.
Thank you. Okay, so your question is that you believe that the board would like the clerk to come to you and ask to hire a deputy clerk, right?
Right.
Okay, so we had I didn't see the need to do that because it had already been established in our tenure from before that a deputy clerk, we had one and we lost our deputy clerk. I've had interns all summer and I still need a deputy clerk. So I wasn't aware that the board needed to know that a deputy clerk was gonna be replaced after our deputy resigned. So I guess where was there a question after that?
Well, that's a good point, and I appreciate that. But I was just saying, things have, we're sort of getting things after things have been done. And I guess I'm raising the point and saying, wait a minute, this has gotta stop. This is really where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Okay? We, and that's, I'm just saying, I think if you came to me and said, I need help in the office, and, you came to the rest of them, they said that, you said that, we would have gone along with you.
Correct.
But, I'm reading the resolution here, whereas section 7545 of the Township Code provides that the township clerk, when authorized by the township board, may appoint one deputy clerk. And it seems like nobody really, the town board never really authorized it.
Okay.
And that's where I was coming from.
That's a good point, and I respect that, and thank you for sharing that with me.
To that specific point, I mean, that's what the motion is for. I mean,
Right.
the way the process, obviously administratively, things can be handled differently, but the township clerk has the ability and authorization to appoint, and then it goes to you guys for approval. I'm not saying something shouldn't, a conversation shouldn't have been had before, but getting it on the agenda is the only way to approve it.
She's already been working for 3 or 4 weeks now.
We have a staff member working, correct? There was interviews, and again, the reason I didn't come to the board because we had already had a deputy clerk. In fact, prior administration had 2 deputy clerks at one point. So we're asking to hire to rehire a deputy clerk for a position that's been vacant, and has been filled with, several interns throughout the summer. And yes, there is a lot of work that has to be done. I know when Ms. Ventura was here, she did a lot in putting the newsletter. It's very time consuming, takes a lot of work
Yes.
to put that together. Plus a lot of the other projects that the clerk's office is gonna be undertaking. I can't be taking more projects without getting support here first. So that's why we put it on the agenda, and I didn't have a conversation. Maybe I probably should have done better, but since we already had one and it's been vacant, yes, so,
Let me explain
yes,
what we did in the past.
okay.
And I'm not saying that anybody's bound by it.
Mhm.
But when we had a new hire coming on, and if it was something that the board should have been involved with, we did go into executive session. The people were brought into executive session, we got to see the resume and we got to do the interviews. Now, it's obvious from what I read, you have the power to hire this person. Provided we had given you the authority to go ahead and hire it. That's the way I read this. But that's how, basically I was
Right,
trained.
right.
In that we really did get to interview and have a discussion
Correct.
in closed session about who should be hired and everything.
Correct.
And sometimes we made good hires and sometimes we made bad hires. I am not gonna say that we were perfect at all.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But that's, that's where I'm coming from. And sometimes, I just feel, well, wait a minute, if we're supposed to authorize the town clerk to do this, I felt like you just went ahead and we were nothing but a rubber stamp.
Oh, God, no, and I apologize if anybody felt that way, and what I can do, I can forward all the resumes that came through, because the position was posted on Indeed. We received several resumes and interviews were taken, and I can forward all those resumes to you all for your purview, so you can look at them and you can look at the qualifications of all the candidates, and then we can have a discussion on, how we arrived to this.
I don't need that because that was your power. That's your right.
Correct.
Okay, so I don't need the resumes or anything else.
Mhm.
I was just sort of sticking up for the trustees, I guess.
Point taken, and I
Okay.
appreciate that. So, again, by me asking for that is bringing it to the table today. And I didn't re-ask because it was already done from last year when we had a deputy clerk, I guess. But if we'd never had one before, and now I think that would make more sense to me. So, Brian, I guess I'm gonna ask direction from you at this point, how to move forward.
And Ray's not alone, I agree with Ray, just so you know, he's not the only one that felt that way.
The way that you move forward to get a deputy clerk
Right.
is you appoint and they approve or disapprove.
Okay,
Like Ray was mentioning, you have the unilateral power to pick
right,
who you bring to council for them to approve or disapprove. They collectively have the power to approve or disapprove.
okay,
So, I think that's your legal authority. I'm interpreting their concerns as they wish that it was brought to their attention before she was hired. That's my interpretation.
He's saying even in the past that he was a part of that, he was a part of the decision.
Well, yes, but
That would be out of courtesy.
yeah.
She has the
Yeah.
power to pick the person.
Yeah, and it was out of courtesy. In some cases where we had to replace a trustee or something like that, I think we did have the power to go.
I think that's collectively by the board, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But
So-
similar to like, chiefs of police or certain other appointments in different entities, one person gets to pick it, the person, then the board approves or disapproves.
So he tabled the motion.
Well, I will take the table off the motion, because I think from reading the minutes that you've done, Veronica, you've done a great job. So, and this is not, like I said, this has nothing to do with you. It probably had everything to do with me, but, I will go ahead and make the, motion to approve resolution number 2022-06.
I got a second?
Second motion.
All right, roll call, please.
give me one. Okay, trustee Slattery,
Aye.
trustee Farrell,
Aye.
trustee Escutia,
Aye.
trustee Ibarra,
Nay.
and supervisor Contreras.
All right,
A motion carried.
okay, congratulations, Veronica.
You got a spirited conversation going.
Next is, the follow-up to the senior grants for the tax levies, so these are annual ones. The St. Ray's Senior Club, turned in their application after the last approval, and then Easter Seals Jewelry did as well. So we can do these one at a time. Can I get,
I'll make a
approval?
motion to approve St. Ray's Senior Club.
Roll call, please.
We need a.
We need
Oh, second, I get a second,
Oh, I'm
please.
sorry.
I second that motion to approve.
Roll call, please.
Sure, trustee Ibarra,
Aye.
trustee Farrell,
Aye.
trustee Escutia,
Aye.
trustee Slattery,
Aye.
supervisor Contreras.
All right,
Motion carried.
can I get a motion to approve the Easter Seals
I'll make a
Jewelry?
motion to approve Easter Seals Joliet Region.
I get a second, please.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Trustee Ibarra,
Aye.
trustee Slattery,
Aye.
trustee Escutia,
Aye.
trustee Farrell,
Aye.
supervisor Contreras.
All right.
Motion carried.
All right. There are no reports, this meeting, and then we will have all the reports and then some for our regular December meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a,
Before we get
Yes.
to Supervisor, I do hear Ray's concerns from what he was bringing up earlier. I hesitate to impose something that I feel would slow down the township to a significant degree, and I don't think that's what Ray was implying.
I don't think
But if in the future, something like a new hire of a deputy clerk, if that could be brought up in a board meeting and the clerk or yourself or whoever might be hiring new staff to that capacity can bring that up so the trustees are in the loop prior to you guys sending out, an Indeed form for application or anything else. I think we all would appreciate that.
Then I thought that's valid, so. I
that's a
think-
directive, can that be put in the minutes, please?
Repeat that.
That's a directive, can that be put in the minutes, what he said?
As courtesy, yes, we can give you guys that courtesy, but the board is up on the balcony. You do not operate in the weeds.
Sure,
Um,
sure, and I'm just saying.
And is
I
there
would-
any other position that you feel you need to have say?
I think what he said is a very valid concern, if we feel like
No,
our
but
votes
she-
are.
but she's just asking,
Okay.
what positions, I guess. we need to discuss that further, because certainly I don't want you to just, bring up that point when, you need something else, someone else for the road district, but if it's for an executive assistant or a deputy clerk.
Presumably things you're voting on? Positions
Yeah,
you're
that
voting
would
on?
be,
Exactly.
You were asking for more positions, and I might be out of line here, but like, the, general assistant supervisor or animal control supervisor, they're not necessarily under us at all, but I think that it would be nice if we knew what was going on there.
That's fair, absolutely, thank you.
Yeah, in general, understood.
Did we get notification when we, prior to the intern starting?
Notification about what, about an intern being hired?
Yeah.
No, there was no notification
There's no
given for
notification.
interns.
But we
no.
post those out, so all of our interns have been legitimately like random, so we put it out to all the colleges,
Right.
and they have been from all over. So we do put those out there, but we can put the post out right away to you guys as soon as they go out, so everyone can share them. I mean, things like that.
Yeah, I think that was the main concern, it was just, notification, they just
Yeah.
want to be aware.
I think we could do that.
Everything that's going on, so.
That we could do.
That we are gonna end up voting on,
Yeah,
prior to receiving.
that's fair.
Okay.
Right. That being said, I'll make a motion to adjourn meeting.
I will second that.
Roll call, please.
Sure, trustee Escutia,
Aye.
trustee Ibarra,
Aye.
trustee Farrell,
Alright.
trustee Slattery, supervisor Contreras.
I don't know who I am tonight.
Motion carried, meeting adjourned at 5:40. Thank you.
Did you get in trouble, Ray? You trying to pretend somebody you're not?